Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday. It's Pastor Shaun here, and this is day 10 of our challenge, the Your Next Move Now challenge. I'm walking alongside of you through the end of this year to help you prepare for God's next move in your life. I believe with confidence that 2026 is a defining year in your life. God wants to do some new things in your life and in you. And so we need to be ready to respond to the work that God is doing in order to move us forward. Every week, I'm giving you a new principle from the acronym MOVE. Okay, a new principle, a way to think about your next move. So last week, we talked about mindset and how we need to shift our mindset so that when God speaks to us, we're ready to agree with Him. A lot of our moves have been frustrated and stalled, and we've been stuck because God starts talking to us, and our minds are not in a position to align or to agree with what the Lord is saying. So we gave that principle, and then every day last week, we gave you a different practice to help you get your mind ready for God's move in your life. This week, we're talking about order. I told you Sunday night that order is greater than outcomes. God brings about the outcomes that have been ordained for our lives first by creating order. And we see this unfolding in Genesis 1. I'm going to read verse 1, chapter 1. I'm going to read verse 4 of chapter 1 and verse 5, but I'm also going to read a few more verses into the chapter. I just want to put this in front of you, but I'll keep reading, okay? So, verse 4 of Genesis chapter 1, God saw that the light was good, and God separated the light from the darkness. He separated the light from the darkness. God called the light day, and the darkness He called night. And there was evening and there was morning one day. Then God said, "Let there be an expanse," verse 6, "in the midst of the waters, and let it separate the waters from the waters." Another translation will say that it separates the waters above from the waters below. All right. And God called that expanse heaven. And then there was evening and there was morning and a second day. Then God said, "Let the waters below the heavens be gathered into one place, and let dry land appear." And it was so. God called the dry land earth, and the gathering of the waters He called seas. God saw that it was good. What is God doing here? What is God doing in this text? Yesterday, I told you the first thing God does when God works His work of completing creation, He brought illumination. Today, what I want to share with you is that I believe the next thing God does is He starts establishing boundaries. We look at the creation account in Genesis 1, I think we can see a picture of what it looks like when God starts establishing order in your life. You're not establishing order in your life, because if you could have, you would have by now. Thanks to the finished work of Jesus, we're reconnected to God, and now God is doing His sanctifying work in our lives. And so just like He's changing our mindset and we do the work to be responsive to what He's doing, God is establishing order, and He's calling our attention to places in our lives where boundaries are needed. Okay, that's the mirror of what we see in the text. God is establishing some boundaries. God makes clear separations and distinctions between different parts of creation. How does He do it? One, He separates. He says, "I want the light to be over here and the darkness to be over here. And I want to call the light day and the darkness night." Why do I need to separate the light from the darkness? Because you can't have night if there's light. So I need this to be over here. So you get over there and you get over there. Because when you are out of your place, you confuse the environment. Okay, so I'm separating some things. Not only is He separating, but He's differentiating. And in separating them, He's naming them. Okay, so now that you're separate, now that you're over there, you're going to be light. And now that you're over there, you're going to be night. I'm going to call you heaven. I'm going to call you land. And I've separated you because there should not be land hanging up in the air. So get out of the atmosphere, get out of the air, go back down there, because people need to walk on you. Okay, that's what you're firm, you are sturdy, and so I need you to be down there. But I need people to have a space where they can breathe, and I need the birds to have a space where they can fly. So that's the atmosphere, that's the sky. So you stay up there, okay, because you are the sky. So he's differentiating and separating. He's helping the sky understand its purpose and the land to understand its purpose and function. Not only that, but he's integrating. He's saying, let the waters above be gathered here. So here are the clouds, and let the waters below be gathered here. Okay, so come together. He's integrating, he's separating, he's differentiating, and he's integrating. That's what boundaries do in our lives. There's a great book by Dr. Henry Cloud. He talks about boundaries, and one of the examples that he often uses for boundaries is the example of a fence. Okay, and when you think about a fence, there's stuff on one side of the fence in your yard that's yours, and there's stuff on the other side of a fence that's your neighbor's. So if you want to plant flowers in your garden, that's your business. That's what you can do. Your neighbor can't come over and say, I don't like those flowers. So what? It's my yard, because you're on my side of the fence. So boundaries help us to know where your stuff ends and where my stuff begins. One of the reasons why there may be chaos in certain areas of your life, and why there may be emptiness and darkness in certain areas of your life, is because there is an absence of boundaries. There are things that need to be separated that are in the same space together. There are things that need to be differentiated that have not yet been named. There are things that need to be integrated that are not yet present. There's chaos in your finances because there are no boundaries around your money. And so there's no separation between your money and your cousins who's always borrowing money from you. And so there's chaos there because there needs to exist a boundary. Your relationships cause you so much pain because some of your relationships are codependent and dysfunctional. You don't know who you are apart from being with that person. So you need a boundary that says, no, this is you, this is me, so that God can separate, differentiate, and integrate in your life. So here's the question. Where might God be establishing some necessary boundaries in your life? Where may God be saying, I need to separate this, I need to divide this from that, and I need to set up a special space for these things? Here's your action. All right, this is the practice. Remember, you're journaling, mental hygiene, okay? And you're pausing. Isn't that great? So you're setting aside time for yourself to do this work. So what I want you to do is I want you to get your journal today, and in one of your times of pause, or maybe in an extended time of pause, I want you to get that journal, do this exercise, and ask yourself 4 questions. What's in my space that must be named? Okay. I don't know what that is. What is it? God, help me understand what that is. What's in my space that needs to be removed? What doesn't belong? What's frustrating your forward movement? What's creating confusion? What needs to come out of the, so what expenses need to come out of your budget, right? What types of food need to come out of your diet? What types of habits need to be removed from your work life? What's in my space that must be preserved? How do I preserve it? How do I keep it? How do I protect it? Boundaries keep things out, but they also keep things in. And what's not in my space that must be received? What's missing from my life that will help strengthen it? Do that exercise. You want to pause the video, catch these questions. Do this exercise and let God speak to you about where boundaries are needed. All right? That's it. That's your practice for today. See y'all tomorrow, right back here, 7 a.m. Have an amazing day. God bless you. Bye-bye.